Story
Okay.
time. So, so I got it home. I'm like, listen, we haven't got water at the house, like drinking water. Yes, I
All right.
drink from like what do you call it? The water cooler.
Uh,
So we haven't got any more of those refill bottles. So Candace is like, listen, let's go stop at the shop quickly to buy a 5 liter water. I'm like, I can't. I need to go still charge my phone because the electricity is going off at
yeah.
8. Get home, the electricity is off. So I buy
Ay, ay,
electricity.
ay.
I buy like 300 Rand to put, put the electricity in, charge my phone a
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
Go buy it, everything, go to the electricity box, blank. There's nothing.
Oh, it's actually load
Turns out
shedding.
my load shedding is from 6 till 8.
Mm,
When did that
unlucky.
change?
I don't know, maybe me and ESCOM, we're not on the same page today.
Okay. I don't think Escom's on the same page with anybody, to be very fair.
Luckily, I went to go buy one of these bad boys. So at least I have
Oh,
light.
okay. Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay, now that we are all here, I want to start this week off by saying third time lucky. As you guys can see, we are recording. We also would like to apologize to our listeners who we are now going to affectionately call from here on out the neighborhood. We would like to
Hey! Luke,
apologize
clap,
for
baby!
Ah,
we would like to
I'll applaud later,
apologize
man.
for not being consistent and not coming to you guys last week. Unfortunately, life happened and some of us were moving and some of us were recovering from a weekend out partying, and hangovers don't
Real.
last a day anymore, they last a week, and it is what it
I
is.
already, I already explained to the neighborhood that, I take medication to get lit. So it just shows that I'm at least consistent. So with the medication comes the recovery time as well. But we're back and we're ready to go. We got some hot topics for you guys today. I don't know what's on the agenda, but we got some hot topics. And then, yeah, we'll just put down all the other attempts to the lost files.
I want to start. I would like to start this week off with a question, and it's a question that I actually had earlier. It's a thought I had earlier today, and that is, do you guys, I mean, none of us have experience with this, so this is a purely a hypothetical, but do you think that it is possible to go back to your ex and have a successful relationship?
I'll go first. No pressure.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I'm going to be called out for talking nonsense here, but
Mm.
honestly speaking, I cannot see myself going back um, for the reason that with my previous relationships, it was all during a different period in my time. Um, they were there
During
for
your
the
period of
ride.
your
I've
life.
learned,
Yeah.
yeah. So almost like I had to learn what I needed to get me into the next relationship until I found the right one, as cliche
Yeah,
as
and
that
can I can
goes.
I just can I just say something before you continue? And this isn't, like I said,
Yeah.
it's not specifically a you question. It's not do you
Mm,
think you can go back to an ex? It's do you
in
think
general.
that in general an
Oh, in
individual
general.
can go back to an ex, have and maybe try give it a second go? Do you think it's possible for that to actually work out?
I don't think so.
Okay. Why?
Um, it's difficult to answer that without my own experience.
Hmm.
I just think if it didn't work out the first time, there's a reason for it. And you should always remember that reason. Often when it ends, you're going to think about the good times and get a sense of FOMO, like you're missing out on something, what could have been. And that sometimes is a bit delusional. So rather
Okay.
remind yourself why it ended and stick with that mood or memory.
as the saying goes, don't look for love in a place that you lost it, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, yes, no, maybe.
You, Keenan, what are your thoughts?
I got married to my ex. So I'm gonna go with yes. It can work out. We'll still see how it goes.
That's
No, but
actually
on
very true.
the
I keep forgetting that that's true, but that is actually so true. And I was
no,
going
but
to
on the
agree with you,
real,
Keenan. I was going to agree with you.
you're
I
gonna
think it is
say
possible.
yeah, because I mean, again, in my own experience, it was that situation of everything being overwhelming. You think the grass is greener on the other side, and then you see the grass is just fucking even more browner than what where you came from. Like it's just dead on the other side. No, I'm joking, but yeah, I that gap or that period where we weren't together was kind of like the eye opener in terms of yeah, I actually have a good thing going with my ex. So I
Yeah,
got married to her.
the reason why I think I agree with you, Keenan, not that I've ever gotten back together with an ex, is just because if let's say you guys dated, right, and you didn't work out the first time, obviously if there's cheating involved and stuff like that, it does muddy the waters a bit. But if you guys, there was like an amicable split and it wasn't like a
Mm.
horrible event that caused you guys to break up, I think it's
Yeah.
then possible to find each other later on in life when you guys are in a better place and maybe you're more mature. Now you actually are ready for that kind of commitment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's so many variables that go into it. I mean, age goes into it, your career, where you are in your career could come into it. Just family like issues or dynamic. If you the main provider within your family, it could just not be the right time for you guys because you have that responsibilities. I'm just thinking of different situations that could result in you guys not working out right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't work out in future.
I was busy chatting to Juicy earlier on. Obviously, Jason cannot be here with us today because he's gallivanting in Dubai. He's having a nice little party time, so I'm happy for him.
Looks
But
like a good place to gallivant.
exactly. But he got me thinking about the topic of immigration because he said, well, he was obviously, as you guys know, he's moved to Abu Dhabi, but now he's just on holiday in Dubai, and Dubai is obviously a lot more fun and worldly
Vibes.
than Abu Dhabi is. Vibes, exactly. And he said, like, being there, he almost came to tears, and maybe he doesn't want me sharing that, but I'm gonna share it anyway. He said he almost came to tears
Damn,
because
tears.
but happy tears because he felt like
Okay.
for the first time he realized, hey, I'm in another country here. And I told him, just remember, this is only the beginning. And he's like, no, I want more now. I want more. And what this is getting me to is immigration. Obviously, as South Africans, I think immigration is a big part of our reality because everybody knows someone that they love that either wants to immigrate, is immigrating, or has already. And it's simply just because there are lots of opportunities, obviously, in first world countries. But I wanted to get your thoughts on immigration. Do you think that it is worth? Let me narrow down the question here. Do you think, because this is something I've thought about a lot, that because you remember, quality of life isn't just how much money you make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's also the people that you love. Like Keenan
Yeah.
said, vibes, and vibes isn't necessarily like partying and stuff. It's like your family. It's the
Mm.
culture of the people that you're interacting with on a daily.
Yeah.
So now, how does one balance wanting to go to another country and immigrating because you want that opportunity, but then also you're losing out on the quality of life of friends, of family, of loved ones?
So,
Just lost you guys there.
So
okay.
how do you balance out making that decision? Luke, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think for me, it's about what is the end goal or the ultimate goal when it comes to immigration. So, better quality of life for yourself or you and your partner or your future family. So then I think it comes into a bigger picture. Whereas if you're traveling just for experience, so obviously a lot more easier to travel when you're single. So then you can chase the vibes and the experiences and learn new cultures, meet new people. But I think the main thing is to get your overall goal and then sort of plan accordingly.
Okay.
I got my
Operation
mug
Drake.
here also.
I'm just laughing at Keaton's mic.
Guys, we must get some props going here, man. Just to touch on, like, or to build on what Luke is saying, I think it's based on your priorities. For some people, finances or money is their priority. But for me, it's quality of life. For me, is the quality of your actual life outside of work. So if I have to use the example of the UK, for me, if I had to move to the UK now, might get paid a lot more. But when I move there, I'm gonna have to move to a smaller house. I might have to move to an apartment, and I like my space. I'm a big guy, so I like my wide open spaces. And quality life for me is also the things that I'm used to, the things that I enjoy doing here in South Africa, which is with my friends, Brian, just some of the things that maybe even annoy you
Good
about South
weather.
Africa. Good weather, yeah, that's very important. But when I'm sitting in load shedding the way I am now, it makes you think about it. Yeah,
Makes
that's
you
my
question
answer.
things.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like it crosses my mind now.
I think I am squarely sitting on the fence on this one, and that is purely because if I could paint a perfect picture for myself, I would like to jump between South Africa and another country. I spend almost half my time in SA and half the time somewhere else where maybe there's more opportunities. But I can't see myself ever saying goodbye to South Africa and not coming home for, 3-4 years. I just
Yeah.
I don't know. It just
Yeah.
doesn't.
So then
Yeah.
does that mean that, I mean, sitting on the fence, then obviously it's like a battle between friends and family and pursuing your career.
Yes.
You sort of,
Basically. But it's not only just friends and family. I think Keenan touched on it as well. Is that, like, for example, my brother obviously staying in the UK now. He has to take vitamin D tablets, right? It's vitamin D tablets because you don't
Yeah.
get enough
yeah.
sunlight.
Lack of sun.
Yeah, and I mean the sun's going down at like 3 in the afternoon. I know people that get like
Phew.
seasonal depressional or disorder or whatever that thing is, where it's cloudy all the time, they get depressed. Now that can 100% be the case if you're obviously living in the UK, London. Whereas, I mean, people that live in the north all have to travel south during their winters so that they can get a little bit of happiness in their lives.
Sun. Yeah.
You know.
I can definitely like attest to that. I agree with that. I'm born in December. I'm like a summer baby, so this weather at the moment, like into September already, is trash for me. Like I'm over
Not
winter
vibing.
now. I feel like it's
Mm.
been the longest winter ever. I mean, I was saying to one of my work colleagues that they know already that I like my floral shirts, but I don't even feel like wearing a floral shirt with this weather the way it is now. Know what I mean? So yeah, I can definitely feel that the weather is a big part of it as well. Um, on being born and like all of those sort of things, you guys don't believe in like horoscopes and stuff like that, eh? Or do you?
Not necessarily.
Listen, I'm not gonna
I'm a bit
now go
skeptical.
buy the You magazine and go see what my horoscope is for this month. However, there are certain apps. Like I think I belong to an app called The Pattern, and you type in not only your birthday, but also like the time of day that you were born, etc. And then it gives you like these very intricate and in-depth readings about like what's going to happen over the next year, but it's all obviously up to for interpretation, and I find it interesting. So I would say that I lean towards believing in it.
Because I mean, you guys know the argument against it. How is it possible that everyone born in that specific month has the same stuff in store for their future? And also, like you said, you won't go buy the U magazine. Um, let's say in the U magazine it says this month something good is going to happen to you. And then something good
Yeah.
happens to you. Like, oh, the U magazine said so. But
But
I mean, something good could have just happened to you.
true,
Yeah.
but you know how I actually interpret it. It is like we could all sit and we can have someone really important sitting in front of us, Mahatma Gandhi, for example, and he gives us a speech. We're all going to walk away from this speech taking away different lessons, taking away, we're going to all come away with something different, even though we're all hearing the same words. So I
Yeah.
think if you apply that train of thought to the way horoscopes work, I would say that, yeah, it's going to, because I used to be on the same train of thought, like, how could that thing apply to, so there's so many people born in the month of July, how could it apply to all of them? But I think you take out what what
Yeah. What
if
applies to
something
you?
means something. Yeah, exactly
I
what
think
applies
that's
to
like
you.
that when I go to church. Like I take out of it what applies to me. So could be the same thing. Listen, you were talking about teaching. I have a question. Let's say you guys were a manager, a football manager. And obviously, as a football manager, you need to have leadership qualities. Like you need to be a leader.
Yes.
So basically, my question is, if you were managing a team, what would your leadership style be? Like, how would you lead a group of people?
Well, Luke is a coach at the moment, a high school rugby coach. So let's hear your opinion
Yeah.
first, Luke. What?
I think it depends on the level. So, um, and I mean also the sport. But for me, specific to rugby, I like my players to be intelligent. So I do a lot of how can I say questioning. So I encourage the player to actually think about what they're doing, what their role is, and I'm very big on strength and conditioning. So you need to be fit, you need to be strong, you need to have the performance side as well as the game intelligence. So I like to give my players the freedom to express themselves on the field. But yeah, I would say those two qualities are what I look out for in my team. But again, it
Can
depends on the
I
sport.
can I summarize that? Because I think I understand what your leadership sort of style is. You the sort of
Yeah,
leader, in order to make your team better, you want them to question everything, not question everything that they do, but you would want them to revert back to some of the decisions that they've made in order to learn from
yeah,
that and to go to improve. And
100%.
then
Yeah,
when you talk about the strength and conditioning, if we have to apply it into like a corporate space, you would want your guys to go put in the extra work to make sure that
yeah,
the experts on whatever they do, so that when they are applying their trade, whatever that may be, that they have put in that extra work to be the best that they can be.
Mm.
yeah. So it's basically accountability on their part.
Yeah,
I
and put
would, I
in
would,
that extra work.
I agree with everything Luke say, but I would actually touch on something slightly different. I would like to create an environment where people enjoy, because we are talking about a corporate space, right?
Anything like if you,
Anything.
you were leading a team of any sort of people,
Mm.
So to
any
be honest,
people.
I think yes, obviously strength and conditioning is really important if you're talking about football or what you guys just said. But I actually would focus on creating an environment. Firstly, one of respect, but also one of like friendship and openness. Like I would want my if it's my employees or if it's my players in a team, I would I would like in a perfect world, not everybody's always going to be friends, but I would like people to want to come to work. I would like people to approach, if it's in a corporate setting, I want them to approach it as if we are a football team or we are a rugby team and we work together towards a goal. Because the better we work together, the easier it is, the easier it will be for us to, achieve our targets. So I actually think I would focus mostly on creating a good environment where people are happy to be there. Yeah.
That's good. That's really cool. I
Wow.
find
What
that
are your
very
thoughts?
interesting. From my side, well, I am obviously a leader in my job. For me, I just try to be myself. Like I try to be vulnerable. I try to be transparent. I often say to my guys that like I don't have all the answers for everything. I mean, people can tell when you're bullshitting them. You know what I mean? Like they can tell when you're not being straightforward or authentic with them. So for me, I like what you said, Nathan. In order for your guys to go to war for you, you need to create that environment where they can feel safe, where they can feel valued, where they can feel like you guys are doing it together, like it's a team
Yeah.
effort. I need you and you need me, sort of thing.
Can I add
So
one
I
more
mean,
thing
I
to that?
try that. I try that.
Can I add
Yeah.
one more thing to that? What I also do like when I have been in positions where I'm either teaching or I am in a higher level and someone's coming to me for advice, what I do really appreciate is someone that is proactive. So someone that has tried something, they've now
Mm.
tried out different options and they're still running into trouble. And now they're looking for advice like, oh, I tried this, I'm not getting anywhere. Can you help me? I don't like people who hit a little bit of resistance and all of a sudden they run to someone for an answer because you're not learning that way.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
Shows good initiative. Yeah. I like that. Sorry, I went off on
Cool.
that. Was a random one.
No, no, no.
No,
I like
it's
the
fine.
question.
Actually, I just want to say one more thing, just with regards to the leadership, just from you guys. If there's any qualities that one should avoid when it comes to
When
leadership
if
or
you're
managing a team.
oh,
So, like personally, now for you, what's your go-to? You don't do this because it has this
I
effect, and then Keenan, you
I
can
have the
also.
perfect example to answer that question because it happened today with Eric Ten Hag, obviously United manager. He publicly criticized Jadon Sancho,
I saw
and
that.
Jadon Sancho publicly said he's denied that and said Eric Ten Hag's a liar, basically. So I'm all. Listen, if someone needs to hear truth, they need to hear truth. Don't get me wrong. Don't mollycoddle people. But I don't think that as a leader, you should air out your grievances in the public domain. I think that certain things need to remain private because you lose the dressing room, you lose your team. Like, for example, if you're talking about it from a corporate point of view, like Keenan, let's say Keenan talks about the Nachi in front of everybody, but the Nachi's in the company. How are the other people in that team going to think, oh, if I do something wrong, then that means he's going to embarrass me in front of the rest of the team?
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't create, again, and not a good environment. So that's
Mm,
one I would definitely stay away from.
Agree with you.
okay.
I mean, even if the Nachi is not in the environment, that news will come back to the Nachi. Trust me. So
Exactly.
it's best to stay away from that. Luke, from my side, I think it's mainly just consistency and fairness across the board. There's obviously going to be, especially when you're talking about management. Sir Alex Ferguson, in his documentary, he spoke about how he had to manage Eric Cantona a certain way because of his personality and to get the best
Yeah.
out of him. So there are going to be some instances where you would have to manage a certain personality a certain way. But the key thing for me is to try and be consistent as much as possible. Because again, the similar to Nathan's example, that news gets around quick, or that sort of special treatment gets around quick, and you start losing the locker room, as Nathan said.
I do like what you said there, Keaton, as well, and that is um, when approaching certain players. So I when we were playing five-a-side, I realized and I was captaining the side. I realized that certain guys I could crap out on the field, and I could be like, Luke, come on, man, you need to go in harder next time. And Luke will be
Yeah,
like, okay, cool, I'll go
react
in
to
harder
that.
next time. But then
Yeah,
there was another guy on the team that was a little bit softer in personality. And if I said, and then I would say to him, come on, you need to go in harder. And then I could see, okay, now his head dropped. He started playing a little bit worse because now he feels like he's being singled out. you know. So certain people they need positive reinforcement. Certain individuals respond well to negative reinforcement. Others just
Yeah.
like to be left alone. I think Keenan is spot on there. That you need, basically, when you are in a leadership position, you owe it to your team. You owe it to the players, your team, wherever you're talking about, yeah, to get to know each individual and know
That's the
how to
important
manage
step.
them.
Because
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
only do that reinforcement once you know your people. That's the only
Yeah.
way you can do it. You can't go off gut feeling, you know what I mean? That's the difference between a coach and a manager, I feel.
Or a leader and a
Or
manager.
leader, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's a good one. Good one.
I want to actually ask you guys a question about success.
Go for
Seeing
it.
as we're talking about this kind of thing, like, do you guys feel like success is a linear journey? Do you feel like that there are very much times in life where you have to take a step backwards in order to take two forward? Like, first of all, what is success to you? If I had to ask you to define success, let's start with Keenan. What would you define success as to you?
I mean, there's the cliche of like success is being better than the day you were, than what you were the day before. So people that take it day by day, just improving day by day. You can look at
Like Bruce
success like
Lee.
that.
Bruce
What
Lee
is
used to
Bruce
train
Lee
like that.
say?
Bruce Lee used to train. He never used to necessarily have leg day, chest day, blah blah blah. He used to just do a little bit more than he did the day before.
Yeah, yeah. So in that you become, and that's success because inevitably after that, everything else is going to come. So even with Luke's example earlier with going to go question things or working hard, if those guys that is in his team just go do that extra bit of training, they will inevitably be better in the game on a Saturday. But success for me is, I'm going to go a bit deep, but I don't come from a privileged background. So success for me is different to someone that comes from a privileged background whose family was very wealthy and all that stuff. So I'm in a space at the moment, although I'm not by any means happy with, you know, just being what you call it, satisfied or comfortable with where I am right now. I'm in a space of taking note of the fact that I have already progressed further than the previous generation. So I'm enjoying the fact that I've worked hard and I've achieved things in my life, and now I'm in a good place where I'm appreciating that progression. I can put it like that. So that's success to me, just being better, leaving the jersey in a better position than what you found it in.
Nice analogy. You look.
So success for me, just what Keenan said with regards to the progression, I would say also it's got a lot to do with growth. So I don't believe it's linear. Also, success isn't a destination. It's not something that you achieve once and you always have it. So it's constantly challenging yourself, setting goals, achieving those goals, growing. And as a result, I think it's more feeling, peace of mind, happiness in all areas of your life, whether it be financial, career, relationships. I think it's more of a holistic approach on, am I growing in all these areas?
Okay.
That's good.
The reason why I asked this question is because I can't remember for the life of me who it was, but I read this definition of success, and they said, and the definition was, if you have goals, I think it was Bob Proctor. He's a motivational speaker like Tony Robbins or people like that. Anyway, but he's like, if you have goals and you are taking steps towards achieving those goals, regardless if that's work, personal life, family life, etc., etc. If you have goals and you are taking steps towards achieving those goals, you are successful.
That's awesome.
And that resonated with me. I was like, because we can always aspire for more. You know what I mean? So how do you actually know when you're successful? Is that when you're actually working towards your goals on a daily basis?
I think it's a combination. Also, like Luke said, success isn't a destination. But in saying that, you can't always be in a position where you're constantly chasing, because inevitably you're always going to feel like you're not doing enough, like you haven't done enough, like you aren't enough. You know what I mean? So you must also
Can
smell the roses sometimes.
true,
Mm,
but then maybe the goals change. So let's say now, as you said, you can't always be chasing, otherwise you're never going to be happy. So let's say now you've gotten to the stage where you have a nice house and you're comfortable and you're not worrying about money. But now the next goal could be, how could I be a better husband? How could I be a better
Yeah,
father? You know,
yeah,
so then
no, for
then you're
sure.
being successful in other aspects of your life and you're filling your cup in
Yeah,
other ways.
no, for sure. For me at the moment, like I really want to take better care of my body. It's just a crazy thing. I feel like I wish I could be one of those people that can balance everything, but I feel like I put so much into my job and so much into my marriage and all of those and my friendships that inevitably something's got to give. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel, unfortunately for me, it's been my body. Like I haven't been putting the time in to take care of my body the way I should.
How do you feel like that's affected you on a confidence level? Like, how do you feel like? Do you feel like it's affected you?
Um, there's like short bursts of it. I wouldn't
Mm,
say it's a continuous thing.
mm,
Um, but there are those moments where I'm like, nah, man, this isn't how it's supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be looking like this. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah, no, I
like
get you.
everyone, the reason why I bring it up is because everyone probably has that one area in their life that they feel that they slack in. But it's again because you're pushing in all the other areas of your life. And I think we need to not be so hard on ourselves. Like, yes, don't be satisfied. But then, like you said, put things in place where you can address that. But to beat yourself up isn't going to get you anywhere.
I couldn't agree with you more. Do you know how many people in my life I've noticed? And it was a small piece of advice that I got given a while ago. I can't remember who gave it to me, but it was be careful about how you speak to yourself because you are always listening, and your body and you don't know the difference between a joke you're making with yourself or whether or not you're being serious. So
Yeah.
if you walk around and you make a mistake and you're like, ah, fuck, Nathan, you're a piece of shit. My body doesn't know that I'm just saying it because I'm in a mood. Like
Mm,
that shit gets stored within you and it comes out.
for
And
sure.
yeah, it's just I've seen so many people put themselves down constantly. And how are you ever going to feel positive if you're not your biggest cheerleader?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I hate to come back to making it a guy girl thing, but
Mm,
guys, like we've said before, are very hesitant to sort of talk about their feelings or to even say to another guy like how they feel about another guy. Like you're doing well, Nathan, or you're doing well, Luke, or yo, I see you grinding and all that sort of stuff. Whereas women would support each other and they would listen to each other. They would have those sort of venting sessions. But
mm,
for a guy who's keeping everything inside to still talk badly to himself, that's a recipe for disaster. Because
why do
one,
you
you're
guys
not
think
talking
that
about
is?
it externally. Just very quickly, one, you
Yeah.
don't talk about it externally, and two, the conversations you are having about how you're feeling, you are having with yourself, and there's nobody to like rebuff those
Yeah.
negative things that you're saying about yourself. But why? I don't know, Luke. You can start if you have a reason as to
Luke,
why.
do you feel like you're
um,
in touch with your emotions? Let's start there. Do you feel like you
so
can easily tell someone that you love them and, a guy, obviously, a friend?
I would say it's like 50-50. I mean, when it comes to being vulnerable in other aspects, I think so. But to randomly, just text one of my friends or family just to say I love them out of the blue is still, it's a challenge for me. Um, because again, I'm going to go back to I'm someone who shows someone that I love them, or at least in my mind, it appears that way by giving my time. But I definitely what Keenan mentioned earlier about a lot of the times the conversations you have with yourselves, you can beat yourself up. I feel sometimes I fall victim to that, but it also depends on the areas in your life. So I was actually going to bring this forward to you guys, whereas depends on, say for example, I use negative, let's say, reinforcement when it comes to the gym because that works for me. The moment I'm too positive, then I settle. But in the workspace, I may be more positive, and with my friends as well. So depends on what area I want to improve. I change how I speak to myself. I don't know if you guys do the same, but yeah.
Yeah,
That makes
in the gym,
sense. That
definitely.
makes
In
sense.
the gym, definitely. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I have that motivation as well, especially if someone else says it. Like I like that negative reinforcement when it comes to physical training. But when it comes to my work environment, like it's funny because I had this conversation with someone, and they said that about me. They said that I'm a jovial guy. I'm a celebratory sort of individual. I enjoy the celebrations, the moments that we celebrate. So for someone to not give that to me, I feel like I'm slacking or lacking in that specific area. And then if I talk to myself that way, if I get into a space where I don't feel like I'm doing enough, where I don't feel like I'm working hard enough, it doesn't work for me. It kills my confidence.
I feel like I struggle with the not struggle to get the balance, but when I'm talking to myself about my career and stuff, I try to constantly rein myself in. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like I use negative reinforcement within my career like I would in the gym. I was like, come on, guy, you need to push harder. You need to push harder in the gym. But like with work, like if I achieve something, or if I land a role, or do something like that, like I allow myself to be happy in the moment, and I
Mm,
feel it. But
mm.
then I almost as quickly try to remind myself, like, okay, cool, you had your nice moment in the sun. Now back to work. Like,
Do you feel like
and
that's worked for you?
I think it's a gift and a curse, and here's why. Like, for example, when we were getting our degrees, our law degrees, Keenan, I remember sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, but it's not a master's. I see those other guys getting called up there for their masters.
Mm.
So that's me not appreciating all the hard
Yeah,
work that I put in to get there. So, but that's
yeah.
also a reason why I constantly push to achieve more, is because I'm never satisfied. But, there needs to be a balance. And I would say I have not yet found that balance where I'm like happy, but
Mm.
also I still push myself to achieve more.
To go a bit further. No,
Mm.
that's interesting because I had the same thought when I graduated. I just didn't look at the masters guys. I looked at the guys that got doctorates. I was like, damn,
There's always
those
one
are
up
the
there,
real
eh?
those are the real MVPs. But speaking of about that, like how do you guys feel about comparisons? And I mean everyone's gonna probably say now you mustn't compare yourself to others. Like focus on
Mm-mm-mm.
you, stay in your own lane, all of that sort of stuff. But like I think it's an interesting topic like to
I,
expand on.
I would like to just hit you with a quote, and I think comparison is the thief of joy. I
Yeah.
think that when you compare yourself to other people and other circumstances, you are stealing any sort of happiness that you could potentially have, because you are focusing on what you don't have instead of what you do. Like,
Yeah.
you may, for example, if I could make it about myself for a second, I may see another actor land a role and be like, I wish I could have landed a leading role. I wish I could have done that. But, there's times where I remind myself, but maybe that guy really needed that.
Mm,
Maybe he's having problems at home, or maybe he was about to lose his house and he really needed to land that role. You don't have those issues. You have a loving family, and you know what I mean? So I try my best now not to compare myself to anybody,
I even want to compare
it's just
that to
negative.
our talking about comparing. I
Mm.
want to like tie that back to our earlier discussion because to me it's the same thing. If you are not happy with the success that you have right now, again, like you said, you are comparing what you don't have to and missing what you currently do have. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. If you constantly comparing yourself to someone else, you're not going to be able to, one, work on what you need to work on and have that focus on what you need to focus on. And two, you're not going to be happy because you're not going to have what that other person has.
Also, if you want to look at it from a religious point of view or a spiritual point of view, the different religions preach that the more grateful you are, God, Allah will, whatever your God is, it will provide you with more because you are grateful for what you have. And if you're a more spiritual person, which I am, I think now, Keenan, you also admitted that you are more spiritual than religious. The universe provides you with more when you are grateful for what you have. But if you're constantly focusing on what you don't have, your thoughts are like a magnet. I watched this movie about The Secret the other day, and your thoughts are literally like a magnet. It's a force that you cannot see, but best believe that it attracts things. So when you constantly think about what you don't want to happen, you're in fact bringing that into existence. Why not just focus? Just try this for a day. I would like you guys to. I don't know if you guys already practice this, but I try to on a daily. I don't always get it right, but I try. I want you to just focus on. Actually, can I give you guys some homework? And maybe any of the neighborhood that's listening. Luke, I've asked you to do this before. I want you to just write a list of how you see your perfect self. But I want you to write the list as if it's already happened. So I'm grateful because, and let's say about Luke, I'm grateful because I am the coach of the Springboks, if that's a goal of yours. I'm grateful because I have a loving wife and 4 loving children. You know what I mean? So speak as if you've already achieved everything in this list. And then I want you to just focus. And when you're driving on your way to work, think about yourself as if you are already there. And like, thank the universe for giving those things to you as if it has already happened. And
the thing in
much better your... Eh?
Yeah, no, finish because I think you were going to answer my question.
No, and just think about that in the day, in the parts of the day where you have a free moment, and just see the quality of your day and how it improves the quality of your thoughts. It's actually quite insane how it works. If I can actually give you guys an example. When I started acting at 27, I gave myself till 30 to start international things. And I literally on a daily basis would sit back and I would think about all these things that I want to achieve. I started in 3 international things within the first 8 months of acting. More than 2 years before my 30th birthday. Now my goals have changed and it's constantly, evolving. But I've honestly, I've seen firsthand how manifestation actually works. I guess now we're talking about manifestation, but yeah, I've seen it work.
I mean, to take it back to something trivial, I would call it. I've obviously said this to you, Nathan, but back in varsity, when I was still single, when I was dating, my sort of approach to hooking up with girls was always that I'm the director and the writer in the movie, and the movie is me getting to know this girl and going on a date with this girl. Because I don't care what guy you talk to, every guy is nervous about going to go talk to a girl before he goes to go talk to her. Like,
if he's not, then he doesn't care about her.
Yeah, if he's not, then he has to be checked out for other things. So the way I used to like get over that was a case of, regardless of what happens, I'm gonna be funny, I'm gonna be charming, I'm gonna, girls are gonna rebuff at first, but you're just gonna flow with the conversation, and you're gonna get to show with the nice side of you. Obviously, no means no. Let's just put that out there. But even I'll just say, like, that initial conversation where it's like you automatically she's not feeling your vibe. But yeah, just be your own director, manifest. So I'm using that example to say, if you believe 100% that you can achieve something, you obviously have to put the things in place to be able to get to that point. But if you believe it, I feel like that is 20-30% of the job done.
100%. I think you were ahead of your time. I don't think you realized back then when you gave me that advice, which, to be honest, was probably some of the best advice I've ever received in my life. And that was that you are the main actor in your movie, you are the director of your movie, and you're some of the producer as well. You know what I mean? Like, so you can now. I mean, I remember I used to walk up to girls in the club with the confidence of, because I'm now the actor of this movie, the main actor, and you say no to me, that means you're not the leading lady. You know what I mean? So you're
Yeah.
just a supporting, you're not even a support, you're a day player. You know what I mean? And you're a day player, and you know what? It's actually your loss. And that's the kind of confidence that just that little piece of advice gave me. And I took that piece of advice and I ran with it and I applied it to every aspect of my life. If I don't get a job, if I don't get a role, if I don't do this, if something doesn't work out, it's because it wasn't in my movie script. But my script is going to be better than that then.
It wasn't part of the plot. Yeah, it's a 100%. No, that's awesome. So yeah, advice to the neighborhood and homework for the neighborhood. One, go write down what you envision yourself to be, and then two, just make sure that you manifest it and believe it 100%. Like, if you have that inkling of doubt, it's probably not going to work out, because like with a girl, like with a potential employer, if you go for an interview, like with anything, if you don't exude that confidence that you know that you can do it, that you're the shit, people pick up on it and then they start doubting you from get-go. It's the same throughout with every situation.
I would like to also add on the importance of writing it down. That is simply because you literally cannot go anywhere in life if you have no direction. It's like a ship without a rudder. You need to first know where you want to get to if you're ever going to get there. So if you don't even have a goal, then how are you ever going to achieve anything? You know?
Yeah.
So
I think it's part of important to hold yourself accountable as well, writing it down.
Also, listen, I did want to comment on one thing you said there about the confidence and you have to believe in yourself. I agree to a certain extent. I think that there is a little bit of faking it till you make it. I think when I first started talking to girls and stuff, and you first started coaching me on having more confidence, I never actually had the confidence, but I faked it, you know. And then after a while, and after a little bit of success, you start to build that confidence until you're no longer faking it. You do have that.
Whoa. I just realized that I'm Hitch. I'm Will Smith. That, guys, I can really mentor guys with low confidence. You guys are laughing. So
write it down
to the next topic.
Write it down.
To the next topic. You guys, I could be creating creating beautiful marriages out here, hooking up soulmates. Listen, this goes out to the neighborhood. If you are a guy, and I don't know how it works with girls, but let's say if you're a guy and you struggling with your confidence, holler at me. _ OVO _ giant. Or in the comment section, let me know.
Don't you want to give the neighborhood some tips there, Keenan? Just an intro, like 2 tips on how to be confident.
I think we just covered it, didn't we? We spoke about,
outside of, I don't know if we're going to focus on the girls aspect, but maybe in terms of career.
With the girls. Career or goals?
Let's say one of each.
With goals, I don't think you should go with pickup lines or anything like that. I think we've said it before in a previous pod. I also don't believe in buying a girl a drink, because then it's already transactional. You need to sort of just be in the moment. Don't overthink it in your head. Start with the basics like, hey, how you doing? Be respectful. Like, I feel like guys forgot to be respectful with it
Play
to
into your
girls.
strengths as well.
Yeah, play your strengths.
If you're a shy guy, be shy. If you're a guy that dances, then take it to the dance floor. If you're a guy that's good with his mouth, have a conversation. But
Yeah.
don't try to be something that you're not, because then you're going to fail.
It's unauthentic. It's unauthentic. In terms of career-wise, let's say, for instance, you're looking to apply for a job or you're going for an interview. Do not try to bullshit. Like, if you don't know the answer to something, rather be honest with the person that you're interviewing and be like, listen, I don't know the answer. If you can maybe explain to me from your perspective what you think the answer is, or can you maybe teach me? Because the interview itself should be a teachable moment for you, the person that's going to the interview. But once you start making up stuff, people can read through that.
I would like to add on to what Keenan just said about the job aspect of things. I wouldn't respond in the same way Keenan suggested. I would, if someone asks me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm not going to say, but could you tell me? Like I said earlier on, I like proactive people. So I'll be like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know the answer, but if you give me 5 minutes, I will get you the answer. You know what I mean? So you're showing that, okay, you're first of all honest, because that is a big thing. What I've noticed in work environments, people don't like to take responsibility for their mistakes. When it's as simple as, guys, I'm sorry, I fucked up. But people don't seem to want to do that. So I would honestly go with the opinion, with the approach of, you know, I don't know the answer, but I will get the answer for you. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't say that give me 5 minutes, because we're on the clock now already. I'm not going to see you after that. Listen, I want to make things, we need to go on to a lighter note. I feel like there's been a lot of advice, but yeah, I wanted to bring up COVID now, and I realized that's not a lighter note. But let's just say we have to go
something.
back. Yeah.
I just we can go around the room. When you said, just on a lighter note, don't try and be something you're not. So if we go, okay, for me, it's going to go way back into the club days. Like, what was your approach, like getting into the club and getting the girls? Yeah, we can go around.
Okay, who wants to go first?
Yeah.
You go first, Nathan.
Okay, I'll go first. I had a very, very specific way of doing things. It was different to the way Keenan did things.
That's true for me. I'll talk for myself, baby.
Okay, so I can take you through it. Okay, so let's say that it's rewind 5-6 years, and we're the three of us are now walking into a club. Maybe Keaton
about to walk in, yeah.
And Dalen and
tell me the script.
You know,
shout out Keaton, shout out Dalen.
There we go. So we walk into the club. First things first, I'm like eagle eyes. I'm looking everywhere. I'm not making it very obvious that I'm looking everywhere, but I'm scoping out, first of all, who are the ladies that I'm attracted to, and who are the guys that are my competition in the club. So now I'm scoping out the players, and I'm players on both sides, basically.
Oh fuck.
Males and females. So that's first things first. But what I'll normally do is, as I walk into the club, I'll make a beeline for the bathroom. So that allows me to walk through the club and look around.
I think you've told me this before.
While having a place to go. So then you're in the bathroom. Now you can
the neighborhood hasn't heard it.
So you disappeared.
No,
so you walk through the bathroom. Now you have a reason to get there, and you've scoped out the place, right? Now you can also check how you look in the mirror, because maybe shit got messed up on the way to the club. You've also
on the way, yeah,
been pre-drinking, so you know, you have to just do a little touch up maybe of the hair, whatever the case may be. So there's that. Then once I come out and I've now obviously seen who's who in the zoo, I now focus on making eye contact. That is how I used to flirt, was with the eyes. So I'd be all up on that, you know, sipping my drink, and I'd be looking at the girl
with a straw.
Then, not normally with the straw. Okay.
Yeah, eye contact.
And making eye contact. And let's say we make eye contact 2-3 times. Then I know it's too many times for it to be a coincidence. Now I know you're looking at me. And also, you know I'm looking at you. So by the third look that we share and our eyes meet, I'm going to give you an actual smile. And then normally, but when I smile, I'm going
Are you
to
going to show us that smile?
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing. I was gonna act
Show
out
us
the
the
look. I was gonna act out the look. Okay, now for the guys. Well, we should really get paid for this, honestly.
So
But
yeah,
for the guys,
but when
the
you finish your
wait, I want to do the look. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
finish.
No, go ahead.
So, guys, this look means that she is not interested in you. Don't walk over. Don't keep looking at her. Don't go buy her a drink. Don't do anything of that. Don't try to dance with her on the dance floor. Okay, here's this one. That look is no. Leave it. It's okay.
So unfortunately,
Now,
Have you seen it before?
I couldn't give the neighbor
Yeah,
that
yeah.
advice because I haven't seen that look before. So
Woo, you Top Gun Maverick. Now this look is the look of get your ass over there now.
So I think we know what Keenan's look looks like.
What? You think what?
I think I know what your look looks like when you like the girl then, because if it looked anything like that, damn, I can see why it looks
My
wasn't
look
your...
is like this.
But okay, seeing as Keenan digressed, back to my story. Once I make that smile, and she smiles back, now I know that's my green flag. I can now walk over, and I normally don't have a long conversation because we're in a club, and she's not there to talk to a guy. She's there to have fun and maybe spend time with a friend. So normally what I would do is go introduce myself, name and surname, get her name and surname so that I could Instagram her or look up afterwards, Facebook, whatever the case may be. And then if we find ourselves close to the dance floor together, then we'll dance and we take it from there. But that was my approach.
Luke, yours.
So mine, I played on the role of the good guy, the shy guy. So as we're walking in, I've heard this story before with Nathan, where you go straight to the bathroom. Often we'll be like, we don't know where Nate is, so we just carry on. For me, it was all about the music. So hopefully we've got the right DJ. He's playing some nice jams. Go over to the bar, order a cider, nothing too hectic. I would never do shots. So for me, I would also have eagle eyes, but it would always be focused on the dance floor. I didn't like the sturvy girls that would watch people dance. I think that was maybe Nathan's. That was Nathan's side. So then, okay, Nathan's going to be in that corner. I can operate here on the dance floor. So for me, it was more about the rhythm. So when I see when I see a chick dance, then it's like, okay, she can dance, and then from there it's the eye contact. So that would be like my approach. So then I know, okay, she can move. There's eyes, there's a smile. She looks away, then I know she's going to look back, and then it's time to go. So I would operate on the dance floor. Call me Magic Mike.
Do you know what I love about that story is the fact that we are catering to all different facets and all different types. We just, they're serving the neighborhood.
So tell us your approach. This is the approach of if you have confidence levels through the roof, then you'll probably take Keenan's approach.
Right.
Because
Hitch
back then,
himself.
your confidence levels were through the roof, Keenan. Let's not even.
Now
get
I
into
remember, yeah, this man would chase Angelina Jolie if she was in the club.
Come on,
Yeah,
baby, write your
it's
number down before I
really,
don't want to know more.
it's again like I need to have a conversation with myself. Like if I used to prep myself, like you have to just have a conversation with yourself. Like you must be prepared to fail. You know what I mean? Like you're not always gonna, get that shot every time you take the shot. So I had a couple of balls, you know what I mean? You know those racks in the movies where there's a whole lot of balls on the basketball balls. So I used to
Yeah,
shoot
when they're practicing.
So you
one
played
of
the
these
numbers game.
motherfuckers.
You played the numbers game.
One of
If you
these
don't shoot, you don't
motherfuckers.
score.
Yeah. Guys, I'm also gonna tell you a secret. Like the USA now, the Angelina Jolies. The Angelina Jolies are not being spoken to by 95% of the guys in the club. So now, why don't you just go add yourself to that 5% that is going to take the shot?
Mhm.
You never know.
That is one thing I always used to notice is it's the girls. It's normally like the prettiest girls in the club. They're normally like super lonely because guys are too nervous and insecure to come talk to them. So you are already setting yourself apart when you go up there and you show her you have the confidence to introduce yourself.
But I would say the issue, like for me personally, was the resting bitch face. Like that used to, like, put me off, man. It's like, yeah,
But that scene in Hitch, like I know it's just a movie, but that scene in Hitch is it's real. Like
Mm.
he made do with what he thought was going on. He spoke to her like another human being. At the end of the day, she's another human being. Um,
And in that scene, he doesn't try to pick her up. All he does
yeah,
is introduce
yeah,
himself. He talks to her for a
yeah,
few moments and then he leaves. And that in and
yeah,
itself sets you apart. Why? Because now you're
yeah,
not like every other guy that's going there trying to get a number, trying to get it to dance with you immediately, trying to get in her pants. You're just going there and you're having a human interaction. You're
yeah,
being
introducing yourself.
respectful.
You're being respectful. She's introducing herself. And you know what? If she reacts to that badly, then she's not the type of girl you want to be talking to anyway. Because if you're being
yeah.
respectful and you're just introducing yourself, then why is she coming off like all bitchy and stuff? You know what I mean?
True. Like
So
there's been those situations where I've seen 4 or 5 guys go talk to this girl, and then I play off that. Like, yo, these guys are bothering you tonight, eh? It's hectic.
yeah.
Then I become because then you've already, and I know that's a joke, but you already set yourself apart. You've separated yourself from them. Another guy that's coming to go talk to them. Yeah, guys, I'm telling you, I am a coach, a a price coach.
Okay. Guys, we have been potting for about an hour now. How are you guys feeling? Is there any last thoughts that you guys would like to share with the neighborhood before we say goodbye?
Yeah, from my side, like I just want to say I appreciate it. Obviously, we've been hearing a lot from the neighborhood. I've been getting feedback at work. So yeah, like you guys can engage. It's okay. Like this is outside of it. You guys can comment, send through questions and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I just want to say I really appreciate the support.
Mr. Luke?
Yeah, keep up the engagement. For who's ever watching, I'm always keen to answer questions. We can delve into different topics. But on the side, also, hopefully, we've helped a few gentlemen today with this episode, especially with the confidence. We know that confidence is key for most men. But yeah,
It's
thanks for the
everything.
support, man.
I just want to end off by saying, well, thank you to you guys. I really look forward to our weekly pod. And I want to apologize as well to the neighborhood one more time for not being present last week. We did try, but as luck would have it, the universe did not want us to pod last week. But yeah, I would like to say, for the ones that are engaging, we really appreciate it. Please continue to engage. And also for the ones that are watching but not engaging, we don't bite unless you want us to. Please ask us questions.
I don't bite. I don't bite. I can't bite.
God damn, honestly.
Man's
Okay, public service
flexing.
announcement. Keenan is married. If anybody was unaware, Keenan is married because he always feels the need to let us know. But from the guys next door, we would like to say thanks for listening in to Pod 5, and we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Cheers.